Shalom. This week we are reading double portion of Matot-Masei, effectively concluding the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, the last two Torah portions of the book of Numbers. And in a way, it's kind of like we are concluding the Torah, because the first four books of the Torah, our sages teach us, are in a different category than the last book, Deuteronomy, Sefer Devarim, the Mishnah Torah, the repetition, which Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, before he departed from this world, before he left his precious children of Israel, he left them with a charge, he exhorted them, and he reviewed the whole Torah. And the book of Deuteronomy has a different kind of feeling to it. It's really different concepts. So all of the concepts that we read about now in Matot and Masei, the last two portions of the book of Numbers, they have to have a tremendous amount of significance, because we're coming into like a new stage now. And these messages are extremely important. And it's not a coincidence that we read these two portions. We conclude the book of Numbers, which is the whole saga of that incredible generation of the desert. Read about this now as we have begun the period known as Bein HaMitzarim, the period of mourning for the Holy Temple, between the straits, between the tragedies, the 3 weeks of mourning for the Holy Temple. Because, you know, people have the impression that this period of time, the 3 weeks, is a very foreboding time, very dismal, and very bleak, and very dark time. But the truth is that these 3 weeks have in them hidden the potential for the very highest light. These 3 weeks are very, very holy, and they have in them the possibility, they bespeak this hidden light that we have to reveal, and we have the ability to be instrumental in fulfilling the vision of the prophets that these days are going to turn around to be the highest days and the most beautiful days. And actually, you know, we have like 10 Sabbaths left now in the year, and the 3 weeks are really the beginning of the real period of preparation for the high holy days. It doesn't really start in the month of Elul, it really starts now. So there's a whole, you know, configuration going on now of our lives. We're finishing the book of Numbers with all those incredible lessons, something very special being said to our generation now. We're about to start the book of Deuteronomy. We're about to take our leave from Moses. We can feel it, you know, the tremendous charge of the moment, this pathos. We've started this period of time now, which is just full of this potential, this energy of revealing a hidden light and actually winding the year down now and preparing for the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe. So all the lessons that we're going to be reading this Shabbat have tremendous, tremendous significance, and I'd like to focus on one, which is a favorite of mine, and it's a very precious teaching and very, very unusual. And that is that when we begin Parashat Matot-Masei, the last Torah portion of the book of Numbers, we learn about the journeys of the children of Israel in the desert. And, you know, it seems very repetitious. It's just a litany. It's just a retelling of all of the way stations that the children of Israel stayed in, some for a longer period of time, some for shorter period of time, during all of their wanderings from the time they left Egypt until now. They are poised and ready. It's going to be under Joshua that they're going to cross into the Promised Land. But when we read about it, it really seems to be very, very repetitious. And the truth is, you know, we always remember there's a very important principle in Torah, Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim, that what befell our forefathers, what they endured and what they experienced, is a lesson for us. It's more than a lesson. It's a sign. It's a sign along the road for us, because everything that our forefathers went through is a sign of what we're going to go through. We are living their lives in essence. We are finishing what they started. We are completing their journeys in a way. And we are continuing to struggle with the very issues and the very challenges that they bequeathed to us as a legacy, and that's what Jewish destiny is all about. That's this whole concept of this rendezvous with divine appointment that we have to see to it that our forefathers' dream is fulfilled through us. And in a way, that's what it really means, Maaseh Avot Siman Lebanim, that which befell the fathers is a sign for the children, because we are the instruments of the fulfillment of their dream. So here we have in Parashat Masei these journeys, which just seems to be a catalog. What is it, a travelogue? What are all these places where they stayed, and why do we have to go over it again? And there's just unbelievable understanding here, very, very deep teaching from our holy sages, that these 42 journeys are indeed a sign for all of us in every generation. First of all, there is something very significant about the number 42, and we're not going to go into that right now. But there are also 42 movements that the high priest makes on Yom Kippur, on the Day of Atonement, when he alone is entrusted to do the divine service and all the rectification of the universe. The Talmud considers his service on Yom Kippur, on the Day of Atonement, so holy and so important that it actually enumerates and counts and sees everything that the high priest does on the Day of Atonement all together. It amounts to 42 separate moves. And there's also a mystical name of God consisting of 42 letters. Maybe there are 42 supernal lights. Whatever the case is, there are 42 journeys. And the deep teaching is, you know what? Ma'aseh avot siman l'banim, that which befell the fathers is a sign along the road for the children. The teaching in the name of the Holy Baal Shem Tov, for example, is that all of us, in every generation, we have to embark upon these journeys, maybe 42 journeys exactly, each of us have in our life. And that's why the Torah, here at the very end, as it were, of the Torah, because it's the end of the book of Numbers, and Deuteronomy, as I said, is a kind of a repetition and a different level of understanding. This message for us is that, everything that we do, every place that we go, everywhere that we're led to, there's something there waiting for us. Each of us on a very personal level that Hashem has in store for us, that we need to go through, we need to liberate the sparks of holiness that are trapped, we need to encounter, we need to deal with whatever it is that we're going to find on our journey towards the promised land. And sometimes these journeys are physical, Do you like to travel or do you like to stay home? Well, even if you stay home, there are still journeys that you have to take. They're not all on the physical plane, but yes, we have to travel on different levels. There's always something waiting for us. It's always a new adventure. You can never stay still. Life is not about staying in one place. There's something for us to do in this world before we can come to the rest, to the inheritance of the promised land on that level. There are these journeys, and that's why the Torah is so specific in teaching us about the journeys of the children of Israel, because it's ma'aseh avot siman l'banim. It's a sign for the children. We have to know, we have to get ready, and we have to cherish these journeys. Sometimes we find that we have to do something that we didn't want to do. It's not our first choice. It's not what we were expecting. We have to go someplace. We have to take care of something. You know what? We're being led. There's something there that only we can do. And when you have to go somewhere and you weren't expecting it, you know why? It's all something that Hashem is beckoning for you to come to a higher level of understanding, to a greater level of consciousness, to a greater appreciation of life. And so the key in all of our life journeys, whether they're physical or spiritual, whether they are, actually moving someplace else, or whether they're all internal, they're all journeys. We have to go through maybe 42 levels in this life. We have to go through what we have to go through. We have to cherish all the opportunities that Hashem gives us for growth before we are able to come into the promised land. That's what this is really teaching us. And we have to have that level of faith, of emunah, of belief, to understand that Hashem is not just setting us up for a fall, but He's giving us the opportunity to rise, to ascend, and to constantly discover what it is that He has in store for us. But we have to be willing to take the journey. So, buckle your seatbelts, because it might be a bumpy ride, but it's worthwhile.